Hello, everybody. For the next of the poems, I'm turning to the works of the late poet laureate Sir John Betjeman, who has always been an absolute favourite of mine in the written word. Betjeman was a great fan of the ordinary, and I think that's one of the reasons I admire his work so much. He could endlessly be fascinated and see joy in the most commonplace and everyday of things, including the suburbs, and he had a rather barbed relationship with the suburbs, particularly of northwest London, which were largely developed under the auspices of the Metropolitan Railway. The Metropolitan, which eventually became one of the lines of the London Underground, had started off with pretensions of being a main line railway, and for a long time carried on well out beyond the confines of London into Buckinghamshire. It still gets to this day as far as Amersham and Chesham. But a lot of the things that it passed through, when it failed to get any further, it realized that instead of having just empty fields to pass through, how about if all that land could be built on? And who better to do that than the railway company itself? So it developed its own subsidiary, Metropolitan Railway Estates Company, which began developing the ultimate in suburbia, suggesting people move away from the soot and pollution and congestion of central London out to new, beautiful green suburbs, but still within easy commuting distance of the city and of the West End, thanks to the Metropolitan Railway itself. So it was a win-win for the railway company. Unfortunately, that turned the very rural county of Middlesex into very much part of the metropolitan area of London. And although Betjeman loved the ordinary, as I've said, and rows of suburban houses were things that he could love very much, he also lamented the loss of rural Middlesex. And he said this very clearly in a poem called Middlesex, which talks about the development, the modernity, about the concrete art deco stations of the railway company, people going out there, their lives, the way in which they lived, and moved on to thinking about how it once was in this very rural area. And places like Ruislip and Greenford and Perivale, which are now bywords for suburbia. Perivale has the spectacular 1930s Hoover building, the former headquarters of the Hoover vacuum cleaner company, now beautifully turned into offices on the Great West Road. But these places that look so urban or so suburban now were originally, like almost everywhere else, to be honest, almost completely rural. And so we will have a look at how that appeared to Betjeman in his poem Middlesex. Gaily into Ruislip Gardens runs the red electric train, with 1,000 tars and pardons daintily alights Elaine, hurries down the concrete station with a frown of concentration out unto the outskirts edges, where a few surviving hedges keep alive our lost Elysium, rural Middlesex again. Well-cut Winsmore flapping lightly, Jackmar's scarf of mauve and green, hiding hair which Friday nightly delicately drowns in dreen. Fair Elaine the bobby sockser, fair complexioned with enoxer, gains the garden, father's hobby, hangs the Winsmore in the lobby, settles down to sandwich supper and the television screen. Gentle Brent, I used to know you, wandering Wembley wards at will. Now what change your waters show you in the meadow lands you fill. Recollect the elm trees misty, and the footpaths climbing twisty, under cedar shaded palings, low laburnum leaned on railings, out of Northolt on and upward to the heights of Harrow Hill. Parish of enormous hayfields, Perivale stood all alone, and from Greenford's scent of Mayfields most enticingly was blown. Over market gardens tidy, taverns for the bona fide, cockney singers, cockney shooters, Murray poshes, lupin pooters, long in Kensal Green and Highgate, silent under soot and stone.